Hello everyone, it's Rasa von Werder, Guru Rasa, aka Kelly Everts. Going forth now on the Beatific Vision book that I published and wrote and published. It's 2009, and it's the Beatific Vision, Seeing God Face to Face. And now I'm on chapter 12, reading some of it and explaining some of it. Chapter 12, Mary's Programs, the Graces No One Prays For. I was watching Eternal Word Network, and its founder, Mother Angelica, was doing her show. God bless this wonderful woman. I love her so much because she is love, etc. So I go on how much I love her. Mother Angelica was speaking about the graces no one prays for, but she acted as though she didn't know what they were. I longed to speak to her and tell her they are graces she herself has. Many years ago, perhaps mid-1981, I heard through a priest about a stigmatist named Brother GINO in Italy. Later, he was ordained a priest. This priest was selling tapes about Brother GINO, and I bought a few of them. When I received them, they smelled, just like the priest said, of the holy odor of sanctity. It was not perfume. I've smelled various smells of sanctity before, even my own ones, and there is a total difference. Poverty, chastity, and obedience are the evangelical virtues. They are the graces no one prays for. Instead of praying for these great gifts people want, fame and fortune, health, wealth, and glory, the opposite of what will get them into heaven. If you want to see God face to face, get rid of the comforts and luxuries you don't need and ask God to give you gratitude for whatever little you have. Be grateful for your handicaps, your sufferings, your loneliness, and look upon these as windows of opportunities which bring you closer to God. This is how you will be able to see God face to face. The pure in heart shall see God. Who is pure in heart? Those who have the following, which are identical or similar: poverty, chastity, obedience, humility, and perfect love. Brother GINO told the story of seeing our Holy Mother in a vision crying, and he asked her why she was crying. She said because she had graces that no one prays for. Brother GINO prayed for them but did not explain what they were. Every day I began praying for these graces, asking Mary to give me what no one prays for. I didn't know what they were either. Having no idea what these graces were, I was curious as well as hopeful. What followed was one of the signal meetings of my life. One day I stood facing a picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus hanging on the wall, praying the Holy Rosary. On the opposite side of the wall hung a picture of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I felt Mary calling me to turn around. I did so. As I turned to Mary, the atmosphere in the room became rarefied and filled with blue light. This has happened before at the high points of vision, and it means I am about to receive a big grace. Our Holy Mother spoke to me from the picture. She was incredibly sweet and humble and eager to tell me something. She said, "Do you like the rings my son gave you?" Now, these rings that her son gave me happened in January 1978 when I was working at the Playboy Club. And he gave me 3 rings on my left hand, which I actually saw as lights. When I went under the covers, I was in bed praying, and I went under the covers, and he gave me, they shot onto my hand, boing, a light. I think they were blue, and boing, a light on this finger, and then boing. The third one was the marriage ring on your marriage finger. And they represented faith. I learned later, much later, faith, hope, and charity. I believe that's what they meant. I believe so. So now Holy Mary says to me, this is 1981, 3 years later after the rings Jesus gave me, she goes, "Do you like the rings my son gave you?" And I go, "Yes, Mother. What more could anyone ask for?" She said, "I have my rings to give you too." "What are they?" I go, "What are they, Mother?" She said, "They are the gifts of poverty, chastity, and obedience." As she said this, I saw around my middle 3 rings like luminous ropes, and the end of them extended into the sky, like God had a hold of me by these ropes. They were sort of luminous gray. I asked our Holy Mother the meaning of these graces, because I wanted to hear from her what I thought I knew, but wanted to be sure I knew. About poverty, she said, "Do not be attached to anything but God." About obedience, she said, "Obey everything you know of the teachings of my son and myself." I did not ask about chastity, as I felt I understood it. I then laid out to her all the religious projects I wanted to do. She listened patiently. I remember rattling off to her everything that was in my head at the time. And one of the things was I wanted to start a order or a convent for Mary Magdalene order or convent. So she listens to everything patiently. Then she says, "I will come for you when you are finished with your work." Then she was gone, and the room became normal. I had just received one of the greatest spiritual visitations of my life, and I had received the graces no one prays for. Glory, hallelujah, holy God, you are a great and merciful God. You give things I don't deserve, and you love those who do not seem to deserve this great love. Now consider this, and this is what maddens me and pisses me off about people. What fools these mortals be! How many people would pray for poverty, chastity, and obedience? What they pray for is health, wealth, and glory, just the opposite of what will get them into heaven. All right, that's the end of that chapter. To be continued.